Aisha Rehman had always been the kind of woman who turned coffee into deadlines and sleepless nights into results. At 32, she was senior marketing manager at Horizon Dynamics, one of Karachi's fastest-growing advertising agencies. For the last 4 years, she had poured her soul into the company. Late nights, client rescues, campaign ideas that went viral. Everything carried her signature. The promotion to Director of Strategy was supposed to be hers. Everyone knew it. Her performance reviews were outstanding. The CEO, Mr. Farouk, had even hinted at it in the last town hall. Some people are the future of this company. Then came the annual strategy pitch for Pakistan's biggest telecom client, a 180 million rupee campaign. Aisha spent 6 weeks perfecting it. She sacrificed her mother's 60th birthday dinner, her best friend's engagement party, and every weekend for 2 months. The presentation deck was a masterpiece. The day of the pitch, she walked into the boardroom confident, wearing the navy power suit she had bought with her first major bonus. Her boss, Ahmed Bashir, suave, well-connected and famous for taking credit, sat at the head of the table smiling. Halfway through her presentation, Ahmed interrupted smoothly. "Aisha, why don't you let me take over the financial projections? I have some fresh insights." She hesitated but handed over the clicker. Within minutes, Ahmed was presenting her slides as if they were his own, adding small flourishes and data points she had never seen. The clients loved it. The CEO nodded approvingly. 3 days later, the company-wide email arrived. Congratulations to Ahmed Bashir on his promotion to Director of Strategy. Aisha stared at her screen until the letters blurred. Her hands shook. She had been played. That evening, she didn't cry in the office bathroom like the last time a male colleague had taken partial credit. She drove to Seaview, parked her car, and sat watching the waves until midnight. Something inside her shifted from pain to ice-cold clarity. "Enough," she whispered. "This time he will pay." The revenge began with silence. For the next 2 weeks, Aisha was the model employee. She congratulated Ahmed publicly, offered to help him transition, and smiled in every meeting. Behind the scenes, she started documenting everything. She had saved years of emails, WhatsApp chats, shared drive files, and version histories. Ahmed had a habit of forwarding her work to clients with his name on top. He had also fudged expense reports and taken kickbacks from 2 vendors, small enough to hide, big enough to destroy him if exposed properly. But Aisha didn't want a quick scandal. She wanted calculated, slow, irreversible ruin. Step 1. She quietly built relationships with the 2 junior team members. Ahmed had bullied and underpaid. She mentored them, listened to their stories, and recorded every conversation with their consent. One of them, Saima, had proof of sexual harassment that HR had buried. Step 2. She reached out to an old college friend, now a senior investigative journalist at a respected business magazine. No names yet, just a major story in the advertising industry. Step 3. She started mirroring Ahmed's every move. Every time he took credit in a meeting, she would politely add, as Ahmed mentioned, "Building on the foundation I laid last quarter," and then drop a key insight only she knew. Slowly, people began noticing the pattern. But the real game started when she discovered Ahmed's biggest weakness, his ego and his secret side business. Ahmed had been running a parallel consultancy using Horizon's resources and client contacts. He was pitching to Horizon's competitors using stolen insights. Aisha found the proof hidden in an old shared folder he thought no one checked. She spent nights creating a parallel set of documents perfectly forged, trails that looked like Ahmed's sloppy work. She planted subtle errors that would surface at the worst possible time. 6 weeks after the promotion, the telecom campaign launched. It was a massive success on paper, but Aisha had planted 3 strategic time bombs. First, a minor but embarrassing discrepancy in the budget report that only surfaced after the client paid the second installment. Second, she had anonymously tipped off the client's internal audit team about possible irregularities in vendor selection. Third, and most devastating, she had saved every arrogant voice note Ahmed had sent her, mocking the client's taste and calling their CMO an illiterate show-off. When the client threatened to pull out and sue, chaos erupted. Ahmed panicked. He tried to throw Aisha under the bus in an emergency meeting. She handled the execution. This must be her mistake. Aisha simply opened her laptop and played the first voice note in front of the CEO, the client representative, and HR. The room went dead silent. Ahmed's face turned white. That was only the beginning. Over the next 3 months, Aisha executed her plan with surgical precision. She fed the journalist enough verified documents to run a 3-part exposé. Credit theft and corruption at top Karachi ad agency made headlines. Ahmed's face was blurred, but everyone in the industry knew. HR was forced to open a formal investigation. The 2 junior employees came forward with harassment complaints. Ahmed tried to fight back. He spread rumors that Aisha was jealous and unstable. But Aisha had anticipated this. She had already recorded a calm, professional meeting where she confronted him politely, and he lost his temper on camera. The board was watching now. Then came the masterstroke. Aisha had been interviewing secretly with Horizon's biggest rival, Stellar Communications. They offered her the position of head of strategy with a 40% hike and full creative control. She accepted, but only after ensuring that the rival knew exactly why. Horizon was losing its best talent. On the day she submitted her resignation, she CC'd the entire leadership team and attached a 27-page dossier titled Systemic Credit Theft and Ethical Violations. Under Ahmed Bashir's leadership, the CEO called her into his office that same afternoon. Aisha, we had no idea it was this bad. We want to make this right. She smiled politely. The time to make it right was 6 months ago, sir. She walked out with her head high. 3 months later, Aisha was thriving at Stellar. Her first campaign for them broke records. She was featured in business magazines as the woman who refused to be erased. Ahmed, meanwhile, had been asked to resign. He lost most of his network. The industry blacklist was quiet but effective. But the real twist came on a rainy Tuesday evening. Aisha was working late in her new corner office when her phone rang. Unknown number. She picked up. Aisha, it's Ahmed. His voice was broken, almost pleading. I lost everything. My wife left me. The bank is foreclosing on the house. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I never thought you had it in you. Aisha leaned back in her chair, watching the city lights sparkle through the rain-streaked window. She replied in a calm, almost gentle voice, I know you didn't. That was always your biggest mistake. She hung up, but here was the part no one would ever know, not even her closest friends. Aisha had received an offer from Horizon 2 weeks earlier. They wanted her back as director of strategy with a massive package and Ahmed's office. She had turned it down. What she hadn't told anyone was that she had quietly bought a significant number of shares in Horizon. Dynamics through a family investment. Firm right after the scandal broke. The stock had dipped hard. Now it was recovering, and she was positioned to make serious money. She wasn't just the woman who got revenge. She had become the woman who owned a piece of the empire that once tried to erase her. As she closed her laptop and prepared to leave for home, Aisha smiled, not with triumph, but with quiet, unbreakable power. Some promotions, she realized, you don't get from your boss. You take them.